Hello, my name is Grace Van Berkom, and I am a holistic nutritionist, raw food chef, and lifestyle coach from Toronto, Canada, but living in Nicaragua, where I built and founded Glow Self-Care Wellness Center in northern Nicaragua. I'm super excited to be a part of these amazing speakers and a part of Health Freedom 101 Summit. So thank you, Michelle, for putting on this inspiring and powerful event. Today, I'm going to be speaking about how to stay grounded and centered and joyful in these times, and also how to prepare in these times. Some of you may have written my research papers that I wrote last year, right when everything was happening. I think I wrote my first research paper, I think it was April or May of last year, that went viral, and a lot of famous people in the movement, doctors, lawyers, people with big audiences found my research paper, and people were sharing. I think it just under 2 million shares or views anyways. And basically at the beginning of this whole once COVID started and the whole world was on lockdown and quarantine, my alarm bells went off when I started hearing that right from the get-go that the entire world needed to be injected and vaccinated. And as a holistic nutritionist, I know that vaccines can cause very serious injuries and death. I mean, many of my clients are children who've been vaccine injured, or even adults who've been vaccine injured. So I understand that it can't be a one-size-fits-all approach. And I was very alarmed at the fact that I was starting to hear the entire world had to be vaccinated. So that kind of started my journey of research. And one thing led to another, as it always does when you go down rabbit holes. And I found myself immersed in governmental documents and white papers, reports, studies, a lot of them from the UN and this site that I discovered, the World Economic Forum. So what I have found, and anyone who's read my research knows that this is what I have found, is that COVID has been used as a platform to move into the Great Reset and then the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And it has been planned for at least you can see that it's been planned very easily for at least the last 10 years, but I'm sure it's been planned for longer. The World Economic Forum site, for example, has been up for the last 50 years. So, and some people say even 100 years. A lot of people have told me that they knew something like this was coming and the New World Order was coming, and then they were prepared for it once they started hearing about things that were transpiring because of COVID. I did not know much about the New World Order, so it's been a big learning curve for me, at least in the beginning, and I still continue to research every day. I'm very dedicated to understanding what's happening and what's transpiring. Everything is happening at such a quick rate, as many of you know who do your own research, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's why I really wanted to do this video, because there's so much stuff going on. It's really important to still stay centered, and it's so easy to get caught up in all the information and become anxious, because you're like, oh my God, there's so many things changing, and that is part of the Great Reset. They want to reset the entire world, every aspect of the entire world. They want to change monumentally, the government, our economic system, our healthcare, our education system, the way we live, the way we interact. The food system is massive, so it's a lot. But one thing that I like to focus on recently is with my clients and, with my friends and people who follow me, is that we must find joy in these times. And I know it's hard because there's so much info, but life is happening right now and we can't waste it. And we need to still find joy and peace and gratitude in these moments and in these days. And I do believe we're all here on purpose, and we're all here for a reason. And I do believe we all chose to be here during this time. So we all have our contribution to this change that's happening in the world. And evil is really being exposed right now on all levels. but it's happening slowly. And, some people, as we know, are still very asleep. Some people are awake, but are choosing to turn the other way. And for those of you, I imagine that if you're here, you have somewhat of an understanding that there is a hidden agenda behind all the COVID stuff. So some people are going to have louder voices than others, and so everybody has their role. Maybe your role is just keeping your vibrations high and your frequencies high and taking care of your family. We all came here for a reason, and we're all contributing on some level. So remember that. And remember, we have to take care of ourselves. And I'm going to give you guys tips today and reminders on how to make sure that you're still vibing high and staying centered and protecting your energy as these changes and shifts are happening and as the evil is being exposed. And with the evil being exposed, it's still going to be challenging, although it's great because once it's exposed, then we can start to change things, but it will ripple out into the world in challenging ways as people start to wake up. So it's important we stay centered. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I am traveling through Nicaragua right now for business, and I'm in my hotel room, and that's why there's these murals in the back, because I'm sitting in my hotel room, so it's nice and quiet here, and it's a cool little hotel. Anyways, let's get back to our tips. So the first thing I want to talk about, ways to stay thriving, grounded, healthy, energized in these times, of course, is nutrition. As a holistic nutritionist, I talk about nutrition all the time. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I could sit here and talk for hours about nutrition, but the point that I want to bring home today is minimize your chemicals. It's so important in these times. We want to really be cognizant of the foods we're eating and eat foods that are as fresh as possible with the littlest amount of chemicals as possible. So we want to get away from the packaged foods, and we want to get away from processed foods, and we want to stay away from the sugars and gluten and excessive, alcohol and caffeine and sodas and pops. And we want to eat as clean as possible, no matter what style of eating you eat. There's so many different ways of eating these days. I think minimizing your chemicals and eating abundant vegetables. And you don't have to be raw or vegan, but eating a lot of vegetables and colorful veggies and a variety of vegetables, because that's where we're going to get our vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and antioxidants, or fiber, and even hydration through our veggies. We want to eat in a way that balances our blood sugar. And we want to stay nice and hydrated throughout the day. So staying hydrated is not just good for your metabolism and your brain and energizing the body. And it's not just about the amount of water that you're drinking, but it's looking at your diet and contemplating and kind of scrutinizing your diet and saying, am I eating a hydrating diet or am I eating a dehydrating diet? If you're eating excess cooked foods and dead foods, and you're eating, excess animal proteins, and again, like the sugars, the glutens, chemicals, you're eating in a dehydrating way. So we want to eat more vegetables, again, eat in a hydrating way, and making sure that you're not overdoing the dehydrating drinks, alcohol, coffee, pops, and hopefully you're not doing them at all. So keep all those things in mind for nutrition. Eating foods that make you feel good. That's another great tip. Staying away from the foods that make you feel heavy and lethargic. So that's all I'm going to say on nutrition today. If you want more information, Michelle's a nutritionist. I've got tons of free nutrition information on my website. There's lots of great recipes and information online. I'm also giving everybody that's listening to my talk today a free recipe book, a free immune boosting recipe book. And hopefully that will inspire you and help you to eat more veggies. Everybody who knows me knows that my sauces and dressings are delicious and they're super easy. On the topic of nutrition, also vitamins and minerals are really good to take, if you can afford it, a good quality vitamin mineral. And, in these times with immune health, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, quercetin. These are all some of my top faves. I do think probiotics works well. And I'm a big fan of herbs. So Ayurvedic herbs and medicinal herbs, ashwagandha, holy basil. These are some of my favorites for not only for immune health, but also for mental stress. And what else do I like? I love medicinal mushrooms. So medicinal mushrooms, again, for immune health, but also for brain health, and immune health, cell health, sorry. So things like chaga, reishi, turkey tail, cordyceps. These are some of my top faves, and they're all easy to get. I've in fact created a immune blend powder throughout these times in the last year that has things like chlorella and cat's claw, ashwagandha, holy basil, medicinal mushrooms, and digestive spices, which is also really good for immunity, but also helping with anxiety and energy levels. You don't have to buy my powder though. Why I like my powder is I did a lot of work and research into all the ingredients and how they were made and where they came from, and I like the fact it's all in one package. But you can buy these things separately. You don't need to buy mine. You can buy them separately and add them to your smoothies, or I even like to add them to my salad dressings. Okay, so nutrition we talked a little bit about. Nutrition also helps with your mental stress, remember. What you eat affects your nervous system. What you eat affects your response to stress, and what you eat affects your emotional health as well. So the more that you can stabilize your blood sugar through clean, natural, whole foods, real foods, nutrient-dense foods, the better you're able to handle stress, which is so important in these times. So that's nutrition. Number 2, movement. So important to move your body. And why I love movement, not just for like keeping your weight down, not just for keeping your spine nice and strong and keeping your body agile, but I love it because it helps to move energy. It helps to move stagnant energy, and it helps to move negative energy or anxious energy. So it doesn't have to be anything hardcore. It doesn't, while working out in the gym is great or going for runs is great, you can also go for walks. You could do a workout in like a home workout right in your apartment or home. You could do a great, circuit that's literally right on the spot, so you don't have to move around a lot. And there's tons of that if you just DuckDuckGo home exercises or home routines. You can find tons of that, and you can always email me. I've got a great list of resources. Dancing. Put on some music and just dance. That's a great workout, and it's a great way to boost your mood and boost your energy levels. What else? Yoga, of course. Everyone knows that I teach yoga. So yoga is excellent, not only for your physical health, but it's really going to help with your mental health because you get into the deep breathing part. Hopefully you get into the deep breathing aspect and breathing throughout your yoga practice. So there's lots of different things you can do. Now that it's summertime in most places, or at least summertime in Canada, you can go out in nature. Hopefully you can swim, walk around in nature, do your exercises in nature, go for a run in nature. Hopefully you're not wearing a mask while you're running. And, there's lots of different things you can do. The main thing, and this is the one thing I tell my clients, is it doesn't have to be this long workout where, you have to pump yourself up to get through it kind of thing. Consistency is best. Even if it's 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day or half an hour a day, whatever it is, consistency is best. Doing something every day and then maybe taking a day off is going to benefit you much more physically and also mentally. My next point will be earthing and grounding. So that's getting outside and connecting to the earth's energy, which helps to reduce inflammation, helps to calm you down, helps to calm the nervous system. And you're also getting things like vitamin D from the sun, fresh air. It is very grounding to be out in nature. So if you can combine your workout and being in nature, especially because it is summertime in Canada, let's say, that's going to be excellent for your physical health and also mental health. So get outside and enjoy what nature has to offer. Nature is extremely healing and good for your health. Number 4. This is an important one. Protecting your energy. We are living in such a negative time right now. There are so many people divided, so many people filled with fear, so many people that are angry, so many people that are scared, and people all react from these things in different ways. So many people who've been in lockdowns or have seen people die because of everything that's happening in this last year, longer than a year now. It's really important to be mindful of your energy and not drain your energy or waste your energy. Think of your energy like gold, and you need to protect it. And we don't know how long this is going to go on for. It could be a while. The plan is, if it goes according to the elite's plan and what they want to do, they want lockdowns to go on really forever. They want us to go in and out of lockdowns. And I do believe that the truth always wins, that the light always wins, nature always wins. I do believe that evil is not sustainable, but things take time. So we don't know exactly how long this will last. So it's important that we are aware of that and protecting our energy so that we don't burn out. And when we do burn out, or when we do become depleted, we often make decisions that don't serve us or don't serve our health. And this is what the elites want, actually. They want us to burn out. They want us to become tired. They want us to be peer pressured. They want us to be inundated with fear so that eventually we will succumb and get a shot, even though we might not want to. And I've already seen this happening, actually, with many people that I know, people who are very vocal about not getting the injection, and then they cracked and got it because they said they felt peer pressured. So I'm not telling anybody what to do, by the way. Everyone can make their own decision. At this point, there's so much information out there on the pros and the cons, and obviously, there's no long-term safety data, so that's the number one thing right there. But at the end of the day, everyone will make the decision that's best for them. But if that's something that's important to you, not injecting yourself with something that's part of the world's biggest human experiment, then you need to protect your energy, and you need to stay rooted in love, and you need to stay in a strong centered place and a high vibrational place. You need to keep your frequency high. And part of that is staying rooted in love. Remembering, I feel like we're all guided. We are all guided, and I have to always remind myself to stay rooted in a place of love and not in a place of fear. Because again, when I'm in a place of fear, I might not make the decisions that are best for me. So staying in a place of love is making sure that I surround myself with as positive things as possible, and that I take care of my vessel, my human organism. Staying rooted in love is, just being centered. The more centered I can live my life, the more I remember that I am love. We are all love. We come from a place of love, and we deserve the abundance of love. When people are living in this place of fear, again, they will make decisions that aren't the best for them. So when you stay rooted in love, you are making the best decisions for yourself, but also staying rooted in love is so important for communication. If you are awake, like I assume most of you on here are awake and to what's going on, We all have people in our lives that we truly care about and we truly love that are asleep, and we want so badly for them to wake up because we want to protect them. And, you know, many of us want so badly to prove that we are right. And we need to let that go. And it's really hard with family, I know. But all we can do at this point is, you know, keep living our lives, keep living as loving examples, plant seeds if you want. But if people don't want to talk about it at this point, you know, over a year into this, if people are refusing to look at the information, we need to conserve our energy and not try and force people to see things our way. That's where it's come to. Planting the seeds, I feel, is the best. You can provide people with information, but we need to let go of that attachment that we are right, and that attachment of trying to control somebody else. We all have our own journeys and we all must walk our own path, and even with our families. So staying rooted in love when you're communicating with someone, not talking down to someone. You know, even today I had somebody message me and she's very much against the injections, and her husband just got it and she didn't know how to handle it. So I said, all you can do, exactly my words actually were, stay rooted in love and take care of your health. My next point, are we on number 6? Actually, I want to say one more thing about staying rooted in love. I think, like I said in the beginning, it's so easy to get into this place of anxiety as you keep learning more and more about what's happening in the bigger agenda and how much has been planned and every detail has been covered. For me, I think it's important that I know. It's important for me to know what is transpiring and what they are trying to make happen, so I can adapt and pivot and figure out my next moves. For me personally, especially living in a place like Nicaragua, I don't want to be in the dark, because I don't want to be hit in the side of the face with something that's happened and not knowing what to do next. So for me, it's important that I'm aware of what's happening and that I do my own research. And then I have to remember there's a limit to that too. We're also in this place of manifestation and helping and contributing to creating a new earth and a new way of living. And it's really important to stay focused on that as well, and what we want to manifest in our own lives. And again, coming back to staying rooted in love. When we're staying rooted in love, we are connected to abundance and the magic of the universe. So, you know, we're in this tricky place of knowing information and being aware, but also in this place of intentions and manifestation. So it's like this ebb and flow. Again, being cognizant and aware and mindful of your energy. If you're in a place, if you're going down the rabbit hole so much that you're feeling tired and anxious, you know you need to stop. You need to stop and think about your self-care tips. And I recommend that you make a list. What are the 5 or 10 things that make you feel really good, physically and mentally good as a human organism? Write those things down and remind yourself to do them. When you're feeling stressed or anxious, pick something on your list and check it off. And it's important to shift that energy so that we're not stuck in a negative or anxious or depressed place, because then we don't have much to contribute if we're staying there, right? Okay, and that brings me to my next point. Number 6? Number 6. Rest where you need to. Be gentle with yourself. And I know it's hard. I know many of you are moms and have families and are busy. But again, we need to come back to this point of conserving our energy, protecting our adrenals, protecting our thyroid, taking care of our body, taking care of our mental health, and rest. It doesn't have to be taking an hour nap, or, it could just be 5 minutes. It could be 5 minutes of lying down, or 5 minutes of trying to do a meditation, 5 minutes of doing breathing exercises, which will be my next point. Maybe going for a 10-minute walk outside, maybe reading, maybe journaling, thinking about where you can rest a little bit more, or on days where you're feeling extra tired, because the energy in the world is really heavy right now. We're all feeling it, whether we can articulate it or not. We're all feeling the density of the energy of the world. So it's important to not over push yourself, which is something that we've always been taught to do in our lives. But be gentle with yourself on days where you want to rest. Let yourself rest, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to rest. And then my next point, breathing exercises. If you don't already do breathing exercises, I really encourage you to learn some. Breathing is so good for your immune health. Getting more oxygen into your body is going to help invigorate you, but also calm you. Learning how to breathe properly helps with anxiety, even helps with depression. It helps to slow down the thoughts in your mind, helps you to be more centered and grounded. And breathing deeply also helps you with detoxification. So you can do simple breathing exercises like, inhaling for 3, exhaling for 6, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 8. There's so many that you can do. And again, I encourage you to DuckDuckGo easy breathing exercises. I do have a couple on my website as well, and you can always email me if you would like the link. And, that could be your using breathing maybe as your meditation. And with my beginner clients, I like to do breathing exercises as a way of meditating because it gives the mind something to do. I find that if somebody has never really meditated before, or been really still or connected to themselves really internally, then just sitting on a chair or sitting on a pillow and being silent isn't going to work for them. And then they get frustrated. So giving your mind and your body something to focus on, like breathing deeply, doing 10 deep breaths, doing 5 minutes of breathing, doing breathing before you go to bed, doing breathing exercises with your kids. At Glow, at my self-care center, we do breathing exercises before our meals, as well as in yoga class. So, I really recommend that you utilize deep breathing exercises, which is free. It's so amazing. We should be learning how to do deep breathing exercises in school, but really learning how to do deep breathing exercises, not just for your physical and your immune health, but also for your mental health. If you're feeling stressed or anxious, I encourage you to, close your eyes right there and take 5 deep breaths, and then resume what you were doing. Or if there are people around, go to the bathroom and lock the door and do your breathing exercises. Super important to stay grounded and centered. And when you're grounded and centered, you make the best decisions possible for yourself at that time. Number 8, community. Super important. I know it's hard. Many of you, especially many of you waking up, but nobody around them is waking up, have written me and said how much of a struggle it is because it seems like everybody around them is asleep, which is tough. But somehow you need to connect to others so you feel the support of a community that's on the same vibe as you. The more that you are authentic to yourself and the more that you own your truth and own your own message that's important for you, the more you'll attract others to you. So whether it's finding people online, and there's like millions of people online who are awake, as we know, or whether it's finding people in your community, more and more people are speaking up and, trying to fight what's going on. So there's lots of stuff happening all over the world. So connect to those people. Those are your people right now. And we can't change what's happening if we don't all start to connect to each other. At this point, it should be easy for you to find people on the same page as you. But if not, again, message me and I will point you in the right direction with different people and groups in your area. Three more points that I would like to make. I think it's really important for what's coming that you find access to clean water. There's lots of rumors that are there's lots of rumors. One in particular, like Celeste Salam, has said that our water is going to become more contaminated. So you really want to protect yourself. Trying to find clean water in your area. I believe there's a site called findaspring.com. Not sure. You'd have to DuckDuckGo that. You can get water there, or at the very least, get yourself water filters. I really like Berkey water filters because it takes out viruses, bacteria, chlorine, fluoride. So check that out. Or other places, other machines. There's so many right now, and I don't know all of them because I live in Nicaragua. But exploring ways to clean your water is so important. You're not drinking tap water. Number 10, grow your own food. So if you have land, if you have a backyard, or any piece of property you want to grow your own food, so important, especially with the whole reset of the food system. The food is going to become much more contaminated. And according to Ice Age Farmer, food shortages are coming. And this is a way for the elites to wipe out our traditional agricultural systems, and then they can start to implement their AI agriculture. So really important, if you can, grow your own food. Even if you're in a condo or an apartment building, you can grow things in your kitchen. I've heard so many people saying they've grown amazing food right on their balcony. So explore that. There's so many courses you can take on how to grow food in your own home. So all you have to do, again, is DuckDuckGo that, and you can find some easy courses because so many people know what's coming and are preparing for that and offering courses. Also, another great idea is connect to your local farmers. Find a local farmer who, does the delivery boxes where you can get fresh organic foods. You're helping out the farmer as well. They're trying to make, traditional farmers obsolete eventually. So connecting with them, if you can afford food delivery, then even making a relationship with a farmer, where I know somebody who asked the farmer if they could work for some of their food. So they were doing the weeding for them in exchange for getting organic food delivery. So just connect to them and see where that transpires. Have good conversations with them, support each other. I think that's so important that we are able to be in charge of our own food and what goes into our body. And finally, I know I've said this a couple of times throughout this, but I really want to reiterate. It's so important that you find joy and peace and enjoyment in these moments, in these days, with yourself, with your family, with your friends. Life is happening right now. And, yes, this is like the biggest thing probably that's ever happened on Earth, and probably in all of our lifetimes, I'm sure. But we need to stay positive and trust that the light wins, and trust that nature wins, and trust that evil is not sustainable. And we need to still continue to thrive in our own lives. We still need to do the things that we want to do to the best of our abilities. We want to make sure that we're not just sitting at home in fear. Life doesn't happen when the narrative crumbles, which it is crumbling, but it will take time. So remember, life isn't after, you get a boyfriend. Life isn't after you lose weight. Life is right now. We must figure out a way to be happy. And not only is this going to help us mentally, but this helps with our immune health too. It helps to raise our frequency and our vibe to be in a place of joy. So that's your mission, is educate yourself, become aware, because without awareness, we cannot prepare or change things. And then find your joy in these moments and in these days. And another good point is, I think a big part of people's fear right now too is not really contemplating their own death. And so many people are scared to die. And this is something I always talked about before COVID times with my clients. When we can really start to think about our own death and the expiring of our bodies, then we can truly start to live. We're all going to die, and our bodies at some point are all going to expire. And from a yoga philosophy point of view, we don't really die. Our energy continues on. It's just our bodies pass away. So I recommend, if you haven't really explored reading on death and your own death, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful part of life. It's a normal part of life, actually. We've just been conditioned to be so scared of it. And that's part of the massive fear that people are having in these times, whether they're so scared of COVID or they're so scared of the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the elites. It's because we haven't really acknowledged who we are in this lifetime, and we haven't really contemplated our own death. And like I said, when we really start to not be afraid of our own death, then we truly live. Then we're not living in this state of fear, but we're living with more joy because we know how sacred and how special life is. I hope these tips have helped you, or reminders have helped you. I do feel very positive about the future, and I will always hold the trust and positivity in my heart. Like I said, it's impossible for evil to win. At some point, evil has to wither away. I am very confident that the world is waking up. It might be slow. It's a little bit painful because it's so slow, but I am very confident that enough people in the world will wake up, and with our own positive vibrations and love vibrations and higher frequencies, we will overcome all this, and we will be able to change the course of all this so that we can live more peaceful lives and more happier lives and more healthier lives. I hope you enjoyed the recipe book too. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, please message me at my website. Stay well.